Hey guys, Dante here and welcome back to my channel, The Burgos Art. Today marks the final review for the final episode of Samurai Jack, and I'm doing something a little different. This video you're watching is actually a pre-game, if you would. Essentially, I want to get my thoughts about the series as a whole up to this point before I then watch the episode and then give you my final review of the big finale. So if I change my shirt or change my hair or end up with like a beard this long, don't worry about it. It's just a quick cut in the video. But anyway, let's get right to it. A simple review of the series as a whole. We're talking all 4 original seasons, as spread apart as the 4th to the 3rd season might have been, and including this one. Well, Samurai Jack is a very unique show. I know when people say things like that, they usually say that because they can't say anything good about it. No, that's on the contrary. The truth is, this is a very unique show and a very good show, an amazing show in my opinion. Now, is every single episode of the original 4 seasons and this 5th season perfect? No. Do we have a few episodes that might feel like filler? Yes. Every series has 1 or 2 fillers. But even then, the fillers in Samurai Jack still give you what every other episode tries to give you, which is a view of a new world. As I said before in previous episodes, in previous reviews, each episode of Samurai Jack for the original series was a look at a different pocket of the universe Samurai Jack enters. Samurai Jack is the MacGuffin. We follow him through the universe and we see the world through his eyes. So even filler episodes in which nothing really happens, there might not be much action, there might not be much of anything going on, you still get a unique character, a unique music soundtrack for that episode, and of course a unique environment. So even fillers are technically filling the quota of what the episode is, of what each episode is. So Samurai Jack as a whole is still an amazing series. Is it the first of its kind? Probably not. A lot of inspiration came from older cartoons, Hanna-Barbera, old movies, westerns, samurai, hand-to-hand combat films, all put together by Genndy and his crew to make this series what it is. So as a whole, great series. And now, as we reach once again the final episode, as we reach closer to the climax of this series that's been around for many years, even though there's been an absence of it in those years, I want to talk about the final season as a whole. Season 5 began with elements and a story plot that basically said this Samurai Jack grown up, but it's still Samurai Jack. The first several episodes deal with Jack's depression, his acceptance that sometimes one must kill, but only in self-defense. He must deal with the darker idea that the world is not going to be saved. And as a whole, these, maybe the first, let's say, 4 to 5 episodes of this 10 episode final hoopla set it up as this is a show for adults. But once again, it's still Samurai Jack. If you watch it, you notice it gently re-enters the old Samurai Jack tropes of, silly characters, silly episodes at times. Samurai Jack being goofy. In episode 8 and 9, he still had a bit of a goofiness to him, or at least in the beginning of episode 9. The last part of it, well, we all know what happened. And that's a really hard thing to pull off. How do you bring back a series that you watched in your youth, keep it in that same tone, without having people go, wow, now that I look back at it, this was this really silly cartoon? Well, Samurai Jack was always silly to begin with, and it was meant to be. What it comes down to it is that the show, in its original conception, was really, really good. So when you brought it back to what we have now, you don't have to change much. You keep the same show, you just introduce a few new elements. Once again, the more mature content. So, as stated, the whole series altogether is an amazing show. And I just wanted to put that out there because I want to, just kind of get my thoughts together, and then that way when I watch the final episode, when you guys watch it, all my thoughts just go poof, because that's what's gonna happen. They'll just shatter and shoot everywhere. And oh my goodness. Apologies if you hear yelling outside. It's middle of the day, so everyone's enjoying the warm weather. But anyway, yeah. I'm excited. I can't wait till this episode airs, and then I'm gonna try and just contain my geekdom and just give you an honest review and an opinion about the show once we have the final pieces, because now we're entering the final part where we don't know what's gonna happen. In my last video, I mentioned like, wow, I really hope they could fit all these plot points they were adding up to in this final episode. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people online have been saying, how are you going to squeeze all of these plot points together in what is less than 20 minutes? You know, commercials included and all that stuff. Because in the past, Samurai Jack never did that. Samurai Jack's original four seasons were always standalone episodes. But this season has been building up a continuous storyline. Continuous. Once again, you have the Scotsman and his daughters. You have the people that made themselves present to Ashi. The archers, the woolies, the rave people, the samurai in freaking in the bar. Are they gonna roll in this final episode? If so, how are you gonna fit them in? What's gonna happen? Are they gonna actually surprise everyone and do an extended last episode to squeeze it all in? Like, what's gonna happen? How are you gonna fit this all in? There's also a lot of unanswered questions altogether, like who or what was that small creature that pointed Ashi in the direction of the samurai? What were they? Are we gonna find that out? Going back to my question from last episode, yes, it was the Guardian. The location that Jack finds where the final battle happens between him, Aku, and Ashi as of right now, that final battle, it was the Guardian. In my heart, I knew it was. I just did a video in a new segment called Toon Talk about the Guardian, but I just didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to believe that it was the Guardian, that time portal the Guardian had was destroyed, that Aku truly did destroy all the final time portals. Because what does that mean? Is that the writer's way of kind of ignoring, no, not ignoring, but erasing that part of continuity? To quote the ever intelligent Dr. Emmett Brown, the future is what you make it, so make it a good one. So maybe by showing the destroyed time portal and the remnants of the Guardian was the writer's way of saying that episode where the Guardian says you will return to use this time portal doesn't matter. Because at that time in the series, in that episode, that was the path, that Jack would return. But things change. 50 years, things change, and the future changes. Maybe it was just their way of just saying, nail in the coffin, but forget the last 4 seasons, this season's gonna end differently. Or maybe something will happen at that time portal. Maybe it'll just reform, which I really doubt. Maybe it'll just come together and like a new time portal opens up. I really doubt that. I think it was really just their way of saying, clean slate, but we're not going to ignore the fact that we wrote this storyline, which is pretty ballsy. It's, well, in truth, it's kind of a retroactive continuity, kind of. But yeah, this season set up a new precedent. Basically, continuous storyline. The ramifications of Jack's journey, like what it has done to people, to the world, what it has done to Jack. Jack finding love, Jack maybe losing his love, the loss of hope, our hero falling from grace, our villain kind of falling from grace to bounce back, like, yeah. And just showing that you could bring back an entire series to an adult audience and still make it good. Still make it have the same taste of the old series. They did it with Legend of Korra, for Avatar, and they're doing it very well for this series. I can't think of many series aside from Legend of Korra where they brought it back with new ideas, more slightly more adult themes, but still didn't alienate the old series. That's the real term. They did not alienate the old fans. But anyway, yeah, those are my ramblings for the pre-game. Next cut is going to be me watching or finishing watching the review and, geeking out. So let's get ready for it, guys, and let's jump right into it. Shall we? Fuck! Okay. So let's start with the official review. Oh my god. Okay. So, not only did they manage to squeeze all of the references we've seen in season 5 into the finale, they brought back references that I was really looking for. And then they continued bringing references in even during the last segment of this episode. So, initial reaction. A bit crammed, a bit rushed in joining these characters. Once again, trying to squeeze them in, the references from old episodes. But with that aside, it's a beautifully sad way to go out. It's done so well, but also very sad. Rundown. My prediction from last week was kind of correct, that Aku was going to put Jack on display. He wasn't going to kill him, he's on display. So, like, wherever there's a TV, even in places there shouldn't be a TV, Aku has Jack tied up, ready for execution. So you get to see a refresher of who Jack has, who he has affected. The rave people, the rave kids, the archers, the woolies. Then you also see a nice montage of the sea monkey looking people. I think they were called Aquilians, something like that. Aquilian. Oh, I might be mixing them up with another sea race, but the sea monkey looking people who are green. The jump good monkey guy, the Tarzan guy who taught Jack how to jump good, which looks like he knows how to fly. Of course, the Scotsman's daughters, like one of the Scotsman's daughters rides in on a freaking like elk, gazelle, horse creature, I don't know what it is, and they're all watching it on TV. You also get one of my favorite references, the giant robot city. Not a city of giant robots, but the city that Jack saved. There was a whole city of robots who were alive and like sentient that were being attacked by this giant mech they had created to protect them, and it went wrong. And in that episode, Jack originally piloted via spiritual transition this giant stone samurai. All these references, and the original dog archaeologist. Yes, they're back. I mentioned that also. The British talking dogs, they're back, but it's done so cute. You see all these little dogs running, and they're all puppies, and they're all barking around their grandpa, and it's the original dog he has a beard. It's the same dog with a beard now, because everyone's much older, and this British accent, he just goes, "Oh my, oh no," and yeah, so all these people are watching it. And you get this kind of skew sense of time, because Aku is standing there trying to decide how he wants to kill Jack. Is he going to make an axe with his hand? Is he going to make a razor blade, chainsaw? He's just making these weird shapes, these silhouettes, and he's trying to figure out how to kill Jack. And then finally he decides Ashi's going to kill Jack. And you see inside of Ashi, or Akashi, inside of Akashi, is Ashi literally drowning. Like, it's her head sticking out of an ocean of black as she's just pushing her way in and out, she's still there, but she's so consumed that she might as well not be in there. And she pulls out a single blade, a la like Terminator style, the liquid blade hand. And Aku's like, yes, these simple ways are the best. And she's about to stab him when like the entire roof of Aku's castle just gets blown away, and it's pretty much everyone just running in. The rave kids are flying on the birds, the white bird that originally Jack was flying. The dogs are in like flying machine mechs, and the Aquilians. If it's not the right name, the sea monkey people. The Aquilians are like flying fish, just attacking, and it doesn't matter. Like Aku's getting hit in the eyeballs with arrows, and he just kind of flicks them away. Bombs are going off all around him, but he's massive. He doesn't care. But while this is happening, Jack is trying to get to his sword while trying to fight off Ashi. So Aku's distracted, but Jack is fighting Ashi. And it's just wave after wave of everyone. The monkeys come in with sticks and whack Aku in the eye, and Aku's like, flying monkeys? And he goes, no, jump good monkeys. And then a bunch of missiles start flying, and it's the 300 soldiers. The 300 Spartans. Now, if you remember the original episode of the Spartans, it ends with the father, or was it the prince, but the leader of the Spartans as an old man on his deathbed telling the story of Jack, because when the Spartans and Jack teamed up to fight, Jack went missing, so they don't know if he lived or died, but the tale was passed on. So these Spartans are being led by someone, but you can only assume it is like the son of that original person, because it has been 50 years. So it's pretty cool that they brought those guys back. So you have Spartans and the Woolies. By the way, the archers are riding the Woolies and just shooting arrows, and it's pretty much Lord of the Rings. Like everyone's just descending on the tower, on just army after army after flow, and Aku's like, who gives a damn? And just like in Lord of the Rings, when Gimli and Legolas all show up on the boat, followed by Ghost, when they come in with the Ghost at the final scene, guess who shows up? Playing a magical bagpipe, creating a trail of blue magic is the Scotsman, flying through the air, his daughters riding upon the magic. It is a glorious scene. And things do get gory. Like, Aku upright crushes half the army of the archers. The archers and the Woolies just goes, BAM! Just flattens them. And when he pulls his hand back, it's just an army of Aku, like little Akus. Like, he just turned them, he killed them, and then turned them into little Akus, and they start flying like bats and start growing blades from their hands. And Aku has his own army, but he's just doing it for laughs. He's like, whatever, watching them fight. Jack is fighting Ashi, trying to get to her, when when the freaking Scotsman's daughters roll in, like the entire army of daughters just charge into Ashi and push her back. And the Scotsman's like, hey, I'm dead, but I'm cool. And he says it, and Jack's like, how are you here? And he says, Celtic magic. I called it. That's gonna be a catchphrase. Celtic magic. But anyway, yeah, and he goes, here are my daughters. I didn't get a chance to count them. I believe there's at least 20. But he names every single daughter. You still got this weird levity that's known in Samurai Jack. Once again, as I said earlier in the video, throwback to the original series. It's action, comedy, mixed together. It keeps the original feel of Samurai Jack, but the stakes are much, much bigger. So he counts them all down and straight up tells Jack, pick one. He just straight up tells Jack, pick a daughter. You can have any of my, pick one of the daughters, and she is yours. Like, he is so cool with Jack. He's like, you can bang my daughter. And Jack says, no, you get a little funny banter where he's like, what? They're not good enough for you? And Jack says, I met someone. And he points to Ashi, and Ashi's just a giant creature, monster, beating the hell out of Scotsman's daughters. And he's like, and the Scotsman's like, me boy, I don't think she's right for you. But yeah, you have this, and then, it's just a battle rolls on and rolls on. Jack gets absorbed into Ashi, so he's swimming in like this black void, and he sees her and he calls to her. And of course, it's a cliche, but right before she gets consumed by the darkness, he says, I love you, and she ejects him out. And that is the turning point. As Ashi's strangling, as Akashi is strangling Jack, Aku calls back all of his little soldiers, his little minions, opens up in the sky, and just rains blades. He rains blades and daggers. Just like it's all encompassing, this evil he is. He just rains it down. And he freaking kills people. Like, you just see like people getting taken out the sky left and right. The dogs and their little robot hovercrafts fall out the sky. The Aquilians get killed. Like, the daughters put up their shields and the Spartans put up their shields, but no one else has shields. So like you see just like in the foreground, you see hands and shoulders and elbows just slightly out of frame, stabbed with these blades, and it's the Aquilians. But you know, the daughters are in danger because there's freaking raining blades, and the Scorpion's like, not on my watch. Calls, you know, uses the magic bagpipe and pushes back said evil. He pushes back the blades. Like and he just rides it, and he just rides into the sky, just pushing it back these blades. And Ashi begins to strangle Jack, and then lets go, and she returns to Ashi. Now she has Ashi's head, but the body's solid black. Basically, she looks, aside from the hair, she looks the way she did when she first was hunting down Jack. And Aku, you know, Aku's like, you know, how dare you go against me? I'm your father. And she says, no, you're not. You know, no, you're not. And for a split moment, I thought they were going to do what Genji always does. You know, it's like, yes, you are. No, you're not. Yes, you are. No, you're not. But luckily, they cut that out. That doesn't happen. Aku goes to attack her, and she just grows a blade hand and knocks him back. He tries again. She grows another blade hand, knocks him back. He shoots laser beams, and she shoots them back too. And she doesn't know she's doing it. It's just like instinctual. She's just using his powers. And Jack says, you have his powers. And she goes, I have his powers. Grows her arm, grabs a sword, passes to Jack, grabs Jack, screams, and she makes the time portal. She makes the time portal. And they get sucked into it. And you just get this one moment. It's not even comical. It's just, you done effed up. It's where, as they get sucked in, everything goes quiet for that moment. And Aku just says, oh no. Oh, and also, just, I forgot to draw it in there. During the battle, while Ashi is trying to fight against Aku internally, the giant stone samurai shows up too. Yeah, Aku fights the giant stone samurai. The robots are back. And they get killed. The robots get killed. And the samurai gets destroyed as well. So I forgot to mention that part. But yeah, anyway, she makes a time portal, and they redrew it. They redrew the entire scene where Jack's about to stab Aku in the final blow, and Aku sends him back through time. I love it because they could have easily cheaped out, but they didn't. They actually redrew the entire scene where he's about to stab him, and he says, "You will pay in the future. We'll meet again." In fact, the only scene they actually reused from the original series was the intro. As Aku is about to slay Jack, that's kind of backstepping here. It's the actual original cartoon intro. Long ago in a distant time, I, Aku, the shape-shifting master of darkness. That actual animation is being played on all the video screens right before Aku is ready to then have Ashi kill Jack. So that's a great throwback right there. Anyway, the scene is Jack's about to do the final stab. Aku opens up the portal. Jack is sucked in. It's exact frame by frame, even to the point where he says Aku and it gets cut off. The way Jack says Aku before the portal sucks him in. Now Aku stands up and says, "We will meet again in a time of my choosing," which was once again the original scene. In the next moment, Jack and Ashi both come down, and he's like, "You're back already?" Jack goes in, slices Aku once, he reforms. Slices him again, he splits. Kills that half of him. Cuts that half in half. And it's this great just split screen of Aku running. Jack in midair. Aku running. Just boom, boom, boom. As this little blob of Aku tries to escape, and Jack comes down on him. He stabs him. He gets absorbed into the sword. But unlike what Jack's father did, where he simply planted him back into the ground, Jack stabs his sword into the ground. Aku bleeds, pretty much, black. He bleeds out into his citadel. Everything he created, his citadel, the tower, he becomes that, and it all just begins to explode. Jack and Ashi get out. Ashi falls to the ground, and she's weakened, but she says, "I could feel him leaving." And Aku is dead. Aku is dead! It is a great way to kill him. he erases him from history. When he stabs the sword into the ground and it spreads out and it destroys all the tower, he erases him from history. Gone. And Ashi feels him leave. And the final scene is, well, the long part of the final scene is a beautiful throwback to the original series, to the original 3-part movie, the three episodes that made the original movie, the premiere movie. You see the Africans that raised Jack, the Japanese sailors who taught him how to read the stars, the Arabian horseback riders, the Vikings, the Chinese monks. They're all arriving on the shores of his father's rebuilt kingdom. And his father and mother are there, and they're dressing him, and you know where it's going. They're dressing Jack for his wedding day. His father's helping him get ready. The mother's helping Ashi. Ashi looks freaking beautiful. Like, white headdress, the drapes over. They did their research. I mean, even for a simplified animation, they do their research in terms of design. And the colors are beautiful. And it's all silent. As Ashi approaches Jack from down this long aisle, everyone's there. Everyone's there to see, you know, the man who beat Aku, the man who saved them, the people who saved Aku, the people, man and woman, who killed Aku and saved the world. And you truly, truly, truly believe it's going to be a beautiful story. A beautiful ending. But it's not. Now remember what I said in the last episodes where I felt one thing that might happen would be that somehow Ashi and Jack will travel through time together. Now in doing that, one would assume that Ashi would gain the semi-immortality that Jack has. Or, on the other hand, killing Aku will undo the magic and Jack will no longer age. That was my idea, if they were to be happily together. And it seems like that's the setup. They travel back in time together, and Aku's destroyed. Ashi feels Aku leave her body, even though she's still all wearing black. I don't know how that works. And it seems like you're going to have a happy ending. But Ashi then passes out, or she collapses. And Jack is holding her. And I guess she felt the evil that was Aku leave her. And slowly, her very existence is leaving her. And, you know, she puts her hand on his face and she says, without Aku, I wouldn't exist. And I was so pissed when they said that. Because I thought, much like how Jack exists out of time because of his time traveling, I really, really hope that Ashi would also exist out of time. Like, together, they would basically be anomalies in the time stream, but they weren't. And Ashi fades away, leaving just her wedding gown. And that's that. The next scene is just everyone looking very sad. And it cuts to Jack, who knows how long later. You don't know. Because we don't know if Jack is aging or not. We don't know what's happening with Jack. He is back home with his mother and his father and his kingdom. He is at the age, technically, in which he left, because he hasn't really aged physically. So he could pick up life right where he left off. And you think that's what's going to happen, but it happened, but it doesn't happen that way. And it's just him solemnly riding a horse in this cold forest. And he just sits by a tree. And it looks very similar to the intro scene, where he's curled up by a tree in what looks like it's snow. And he's curled up, sad. And a single ladybug lands on his finger. And he looks at the ladybug. And we all know what it is. It's kind of like a symbolic version of Ashi herself. But it gets better. The ladybug flies away. And he stands up and smiles at it as the sun rises, and the music it's people singing. They're not really saying any words. It's more like just audio of women humming, chanting, I guess. Really gentle, really low. As the sun beams in, And the tree that Jack sits beneath blossoms into cherry blossoms. And the scene of cold blue and whites gets enveloped in beautiful pinks and whites and reds and golden sunbeams. And it's pretty much the way when Jack brought Ashi to that single standing tree and told her before Aku, this entire forest was filled with cherry blossoms. And she closed her eyes and she imagined the cherry blossoms. This is a reference to that. The moment Ashi believed Jack finally that Aku was destroying the world. When she envisions a world that's better without Aku. And that's what it is. The cherry blossom blooms, they all bloom, and the camera slowly pans and fades to black. And it just ends. Episode C1. C is 100. So there's 101 if I read that correctly. I believe C stands for 100. So it's episode 101. And it ends on a bittersweet ending. And wow. Just wow. I mean, full disclosure, I would have loved just with it ending with them, like, if it had ended. If it had ended with them embracing each other on the wedding stage in front of all their friends, and then faded away from there with the cherry blossoms, you know, filling up the entire background to put color into it, I would have been freaking giddy as shite, just happy. But no, they went for a more solemn, a happy but a bittersweet happy ending. But I guess that's kind of what it had to do. Way back when I first started these reviews, I once said I don't think Jack's gonna go back in time, because to do that he has to undo reality. All the children who were born, all the people he ever met, all the aliens who came to Earth, they would not be there if not for Aku. And I always assumed that Jack would not go back in time. He would kill Aku and then sit in his throne and correct the world. But I guess he couldn't. To destroy Aku, Jack had to give up, for better or worse, everything and everyone he met on his journey. The Scotsman, his daughters, all the alien races that he helped, like the history itself, he had to give it up. And it's a sad truth that when you watch it, Ashi's passing is that sad truth. Jack is a warrior. He's a savior of the people. He's a warrior of justice. And I guess the best way to say this is to all you Avatar fans out there, to all you Avatar Last Airbender fans out there. There's a scene in Avatar where Aang sits on top of the giant lion turtle talking to his past selves, trying to find a way different than his path. And the airbender before him, the woman, there was a female airbender before Aang, tells Aang, the Avatar's duty is to the world. Which means pretty much she says, to do what's right, you must, or you might have to, give up your spirituality. In other words, if it's not right for you, but it's right for the world. We see it in Avatar. We see it in Steven Universe, when Garnet tells Steven, Rose Quartz did what was right for Earth, not for her. Rose Quartz killed Pink Diamond, something she swore she'll never do. The act of a hero, of Jack, is to do what's right for the world, and not for him. And it is a sad, mature, and beautiful thing to put into a cartoon that was meant for children when it first came out. Despite the innuendos and jokes and action, this was a children's show, children. And to end it on that note is, well, it is what it is. A little depressing, but as Jack stands there and once again sees those cherry blossoms bloom, he smiles because he did what he had to do to save the world. Heck, even Ashi knew he had to do it. She told him in the last episode, kill me, then destroy Aku. Even she was willing to give up her existence to save the world. And that's Samurai Jack, guys. An amazing series with a heartfelt, oh my god, this is like a Pixar movie, tugging at your heartstrings ending. Will Jack continue living forever? We don't know. That's the only... No, there's two things I don't know. One, I still have no idea who the heck the little creature was that pointed Ashi in the right direction. If you know, put in the replies below. I want to know who the heck that creature was. Who was that little creature who helped Ashi? Or was she just someone who was there to help Jack? You don't know. And two, we don't know if Jack will age. But once again, it's a bittersweet ending because if he doesn't age, he's still willing to accept it. Because that's what a hero does. And that is what Samurai Jack does. And that is my review, guys. That is my review of Samurai Jack, the final season, the entire series. Go watch them. Buy them on DVD. Netflix and chill. Cosplay these people. Go on DeviantArt. There's some amazing artwork out there of Ashi and Jack, especially Ashi. People love Ashi. Anyway, guys, once again, I am Dante. Like, favorite, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Later.